Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a video covering the winners for the 10,000 subscriber giveaway that was going off on the video, which was tier 10 tanks for free XP, 10k subs special. Now I started that about 8 or 9 days ago, and then the winners could either win a rock crawler or a Vipera. So what we're going to do for this video is draw the winners for those two tanks, and then show a replay in each of the tanks so you can see how a Vipera handles, and then see how the rock crawler handles, what I run in terms of crew and equipment, you know, the normal stuff. So without further ado, let's draw the winners. So as you can see, I've already dropped the URL for the video into the link tray. Let's pull the winner for the Vipera first. So as I said in that video, I'm just going to copy paste from my comment section, which is how I recommended you do it for your comment. Drop it into there, filter the comments, and then get the YouTube comments. So 1 + 6 is 7 because, oh yeah, I know my mathematics just about. And as you can see, there were 72 unique comments who entered for the giveaway for the Vipera out of 191 people. So let's get this giveaway drawn. So let's start the raffle. Here it goes. Who is going to win this Vipera? And it's Roman Bellic. Well done, my son. You've won yourself a Vipera, which is the Italian tier 8 premium tank destroyer, and you'll be able to roam the battlefields in this tank. Well done, my son. You've got yourself the Vipera, and you will enjoy it. What I'm going to do now is send you into the replay where you can watch that Vipera in action and see how it handles. So here we are with the Vipera. It is a 5-shot autoloader, but it's not a conventional autoloader, just like the other Italian tank destroyers. It's got a long intraclip reload at 6 seconds, but 6 seconds is pretty quick if you were to count it as a single shot reload for 400 alpha. Now, the whole point of the Italian tank destroyers is that their clip reload is actually not that long for the potential, but their intraclip is longer, so you're supposed to try and bluff out how many shells you have. So no one really knows how loaded you are and how many shells you've got left to keep pumping out damage, and generally, you will fire a lot faster than every other tank at the tier for your alpha in the intraclip, but you've got to manage the fact that you've got a clip reload as well. Now, the Vipera suffers something that the others don't really suffer too badly from, and that is the fact that the reload time on the clip is actually really quite long, which means that 30.79 second reload on this clip is very long and can be pretty frustrating when you start missing shots, because yeah, the gun is pretty derpy on this vehicle as well. You've got a 30 km/h top speed with a 12 km/h reverse speed, 600 horsepower engine with 11.72 horsepower per ton ratio, which means yes, this tank is very slow. It struggles up to that 30 km/h top speed, and the mobility on this tank can be a bit frustrating. 19.62 degrees a second on the hull rotation speed is also pretty slow, adding to the very sluggish feel of this mobility. Adding to that, you've got 19.55 degrees a second on the turret rotation as well. That is also very slow, and it just adds to that general lethargic feel that the Vipera has, because it does feel like a very lethargic tank where you sit there going, come on tank, just turn, just get to the battlefield, and then you sit there waiting for the aim circle to get smaller so you can dish out the damage, because it does take a wee while to get aimed in as well, which is pain. You are a fairly blind tank destroyer as well. Naturally, a lot of tank destroyers are. You have 461 meters of view range, which means you can spot up to that 445 cap, and it's not the worst view range in the universe, but it's just not as good as a lot of other tanks at the tier, which can be, again, a frustration when this vehicle does get out-spotted. But you do have 257 meters of still concealment, which is pretty nice for the Vipera from when you are stationary. You've got a 0.61 accuracy during rotation, which is actually pretty good, but 2.35 accuracy during movement, which actually isn't too bad for a tank destroyer, but it does mean that after you've moved, the aim circle does become rather large. 2.43 second aim time means it takes a wee while to get this gun aimed in as well. 2.43 isn't the best in the universe. And you have 0.36 accuracy at 100 meters, which means that, yeah, this gun is also fairly derpy at times, and the gun just decides, you know what, I'm going to hit the floor, because screw you, because that's what the Vipera does at times, which is really frustrating when you really need to hit that shell. But if you get the gun fully aimed in, it'll hit enough of the shots that you need to hit. Or you've got to aim properly. We didn't aim properly there against that Stone Tiger P. I thought he was going to keep moving forwards, but he stopped. We've got 10 degrees of gun depression on the Vipera, which is fantastic, which adds to the strength of what you want to be doing in this vehicle, which is going hull down. The strength of the Vipera is getting to a ridgeline, going hull down and going, lol, try and pen my turret. Because the turret is very, very thick on this vehicle and it will bounce a lot of shots for you, which is very nice. And it is kind of just a one-trick pony in that regard, that it wants to get to a ridgeline, go hull down, and then just keep dishing out the shots and limit the amount of shots that people have to your hull, which again can be a bit frustrating with how slow it is, because it also takes you a wee while to get to some of those ridge lines, which can be a little bit annoying. But there you go. Like I said, this tank can be a fairly frustrating thing to play. You've got that 30.79 second reload for the clip, like I mentioned earlier, with that 6-second intra-clip reload, again, like I mentioned, which means the general clip reload is pretty long, and the intra-clip reload is also pretty long. But, like I say, this tank is all about bluffing out how many shells you have, making it look like you may have more and have the ability to shoot at people, and then using that time to be able to reload your clip, because that 6-second clip reload is way faster than pretty much any other tank at the tier 4 400 alpha, and you kind of consider yourself more like a single shot tank than a tank with a clip. You've just got to bear in mind how many shells you actually have in said clip. You've got 2.2k DPM with that burst, but again, you just don't pay attention to DPM with autoloaders. 220 pen on the standard AP, with 264 penetration on the premium APCR, and then 120 pen on the HE, although I don't really ever load the HE because it takes too long. 400 alpha with 975 meters a second shell velocity on the standard AP, and 1150 meters a second shell velocity on the premium APCR. In terms of a crew and equipment, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Track Mechanics, Steady Aim, Run and Gun, Clutch Braking, Camouflage Expertise, with the Optics, the Gun Lane Drive, and Camouflage Net. Camo Net and the Camouflage Expertise to get the camo down to the 257 meters of steel concealment. Optics to be able to get 461 meters of view range, with the GLD to get that 2.43 second aim time, as it is a long aim time. The 2 gun perks to try and make this gun as good as humanly possible, and the clutch braking to help that terrible track traverse, as it is very slow. But that was the Vipera, as you saw with that game. 3.8k damage, 2,000 assistance. It's a pretty okay tank, but it can be frustrating to play. You want to get it hull down, but it can be a bit one-trick pony in that regard. So, let's pull the second winner of this giveaway. We're going to pull the winner for the Rock Crawler, which is the Era 2 Mercenary Independent Tank Destroyer. So we're going to do exactly what I said before again. We're going to go over to here, just copy and paste Crawler from the description. There we go. We're going to go get our YouTube comments, for which, oh, it really likes to give me these maths problems, right? 13, there we go. So 55 people out of those 191 put in Crawler, so they're the ones that entered themselves for this giveaway. Let's start the raffle. Here we go. Who's going to win it? And the winner is Circa. Well played, my son. You've got yourself the Rock Crawler. You're going to enjoy the big 183mm Hesh juiciness that is the Rock Crawler in Era 2. Let's go watch the Rock Crawler in action, and I'll tell you all about it. So here we are with the Rock Crawler. Like I say, it's an independent Era 2 tank destroyer, and it's got a 183mm gun, which is always a juicy, hashtastic, beautiful time. We love 183s around here. We love derp-tastic shenanigans. That's what the Rock Crawler can give you, and it can be an absolutely dirty tank when it wants to work. Because RNG is a very cruel mistress with the Rock Crawler, but when things give you the opportunity to shoot them, and you can get this 183mm gun to feel good, oh boy, it's really memey, and it hits hard, and it just tickles that derptastic feel. Oh my lord, that was close. That was really close to death, but hey, well, my driving nearly getting us into trouble. The Rock Crawler, it's got a 56 km/h top speed with a 23 km/h reverse speed. 1100 horsepower engine is 19.72 horsepower per ton ratio, meaning this tank will hit its top speed pretty easily. Ground resistances do not hold the tank back. 28 degrees a second on the hull rotation speed means it does turn a little bit slowly. If you want to make that better, you could definitely run clutch braking. You'll get up to about 30 degrees a second, which is a lot nicer than 28. But it's down to you and how you feel comfortable playing the vehicle. 185 meters of still concealment with 206 meters of on-the-move concealment is pretty nice for the rock crawler, and that means you can stay unspotted in so many situations like this, where you can get into position, get yourself into a nice sneaky spot where you're flanked, and you can get some filthy shots off with this 183mm gun. And it helps, and even though they can see you with true vision, it helps because they have to physically spot you to shoot you, and a lot of the time people will just shoot at the things that are spotted as opposed to the things that aren't. 553 meters of view range is good enough to spot for yourself in the rock crawler as well, with a 36.92 degrees a second turret rotation speed, which means the turret does turn pretty quickly for a turreted tank destroyer, which is quite nice for the rock crawler, but you have a 90 degree each way yaw limit, which means the turret is not fully traversable. So you cannot look behind you in this rock crawler. You've got 10 degrees of gun depression, which is really flexible for this tank on a ridgeline, which is definitely very nice for it. But 8 degrees of elevation can be really awkward on a ridgeline, which when you're just trying to look up. So be careful of the elevation, it is really, really bad on this tank. But 10 degrees of gun depression is great and really helps to be flexible on ridgelines where you can limit how much of your tank people can see of you. You've got 2.3 second aim time, which does take a wee while to... It does feel like it takes a wee while to get the gun aimed in here in Era 2. But you've got 1.62 accuracy during rotation, which isn't the best. With the 1.73 accuracy during movement, which is actually pretty decent for a tank destroyer like this. But the 1.62 accuracy during rotation is absolutely abysmal, meaning that when you turn the tank and the turret, the aim circle becomes rather large, and that's where you feel the 2.3 second aim time. But a 2.3 second aim time for something like a 183mm gun that can do stuff like that is actually not that bad. And you've got 0.29 accuracy at 100 meters, which is actually fairly accurate. It's just that the gun does like a good derp every now and then. You've got 16.77 second reload for this 183mm gun, which is about 4.1k DPM, with 390 penetration on the standard AP rounds, 300 penetration on the HESH rounds that can pen for 1359, just like that, 1500 on the last one. Oh, they're so juicy. 150 pen on the standard HE, which means the standard HE actually has a very good use, because the standard HE is very good for going into those engine blocks on stuff like Magax, stuff like other M60s. Very easy to pen that standard HE shell, and that standard HE shell has 1650 damage as opposed to the premium Heshes, which is 1450 damage. The standard AP has 1150 damage, which means it absolutely slugs. And when those AP rounds go in, oh boy, does the enemy tank know about it. You've got 910 meters a second shell velocity on the standard AP, with 830 meters a second shell velocity on the premium and standard HE, which means that, yes, you have to give a lot of lead to hit these shots, and that is a massive part of what makes this gun feel exceptionally derpy, is the fact that the shell velocity is pretty poor for Era 2. As I mean, I always say 1000 meters a second shell velocity is where the shell velocity starts to feel a bit average, and you start to feel like, oh, the shell velocity is getting okay now. But for Era 2, especially in Era 3, 910 is very, very poor, meaning you do have to give a lot of lead to hit the shots in this tank, and especially at the distances you can fight in Era 2 and Era 3, and especially where you want to try and keep yourself a bit further away from the chaotic Weasels and ELC, even SS-12s and stuff like that. Yeah, it means you really have to make sure you're giving fantastic amounts of lead. And it also does make 155% silver, by the way, which means it does make a good amount of credits as long as you're not firing too much of the HESH rounds. But the HESH rounds are the meme of the vehicle, so, you know, you can get away with doing that. So what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment on the old rock crawler? Well, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, 6th Sense, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, the Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, Deadeye, with the Advanced Loader, the Camo Net, and the Advanced Reload. Advanced Reload to be able to switch between the 3 fantastic rounds that this tank has, as all 3 rounds are an option and very useful in differing situations. The Camo Net to get the 185 meters of still concealment, mixed with the Camouflage Expertise to help that as well, and the Silent Driving to get that 206 meters of on-the-move concealment. The Advanced Loader to get the best reload I can so I can sling these HESH rounds with impunity. The Steady Aim, the Snapshot, and the Run and Gun to get this gun to be somewhat accurate, because if you do not help it out, it will miss all of the shots, and it will miss shots like that every single day of the week, whereas more often than not, you will hit more shots with helping the gun out with those 3 gun perks, which is just something you want to be doing with the rock crawler, because yeah, 1.73 accuracy during movement is not great, but it's also not horrific. The 1.62 accuracy during rotation is really not good, and it's something that you really have to help. But yeah, there's plenty of ways to set up the tank. Like I say, you could, if the turret traverse is still a little bit too slow for you, you could definitely run rapid aim on the crew to try and make that turret traverse better. If the track traverse is too slow, you could definitely run clutch braking instead. If you wanted to go faster with this tank, as it does have a 56 kilometers an hour top speed, which is pretty decent, but if you wanted to go faster and get up to 61 kilometers an hour, you could run the traction system instead of the camo net or the advanced reload. If you don't feel like you want to use any of the other rounds or you want to switch between the rounds, you know, if you just want to stick with firing just pure hesh or stick with just firing pure AP, you might not need the advanced reload, so you could run something like the traction system. It's down to you and how you feel comfortable in wanting to play the vehicle. And as you can see in this game, in the Rock Crawler, we've had a fantastic game. I had a feeling the ELC even SS12 was going to be running this way towards our base, and I did catch a glimpse of him, but I completely lost him. And yeah, when you're sixth sense like this and you have no idea where he is, you don't want to chance it, because that ELC even SS12 could pop up out of nowhere and ATGM you. But there he is. I just could not see him. I was like, where is he? I can't see him. We lead the shot, fire the HE shell, and it misses. Yep. It misses. I can see him coming this way, but he's stopped. It's almost as if he's hesitated. So I'm just waiting to poke over. And in fact, he's looking at the heavy tank. He's stopped dead. He should have just kept charging towards us. And we finish him off. As you can see, the visible rage. And the 2 shots that we derped earlier on at him. We finished with the victory. 3 kills, 12,265 damage. Ace tank of the Confederate, the high caliber, with the 1678 base XP. Really nice game for the Rock Crawler, which was the very first game I played in it to make for this video. And yeah, honestly, the tank it's a very, very fun tank to play. But yes, thank you so much for 10,000 subscribers. Well done to Big Hundy 81 for the Crawler, and well done Colores on live for the Vipera win. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. Thank you so much for 10,000 subscribers. It's been a mega journey, realistically. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!